Yo, yo, yo. What's the deal? Crypto Nation. What's going on, guys? Let's get it going. Let's get it popping. Let's get it popping. I'm going to put this over here. At least. All right, so give me a second real quick. I'm about to go use the bathroom real quick. Crypto Nation. What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal? We are back. Send me the folks we can get in here, man. Let's take a look at this Bitcoin, baby. Bitcoin is doing a damn good job. They're doing a pretty damn good job with Bitcoin, man. Been very, very happy with it lately. This last week. Can't complain. Look at that volume, that 24-hour volume, dude. People are using the hell out of it. Ethereum not looking too shabby. Excuse me. But they are a little behind when you're talking 24-hour volume. Bitcoin Cash is up. $627.07. Ultra. Let's see. Let's see. What are you guys out there up to? What are you up to today? What are you guys up to today? What are you doing? What are you buying? What are you dealing in right now? What's going on? All right, so that's up. I hate this thing. Boom. Yes, sir. The market is looking really, really good. Yo, what's going on? Alternative investments. How does your portfolio look like? BitConnect. Team Joey Rockets up, man. What's going on? What's happening? Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. If you're not on the referral squad, join the referral squad, man. Would love to have you guys on the team so we can make money together. That's what it's all about. Portfolio right now is looking pretty decent, man. Pretty decent. We got what I got. I got some Exodus, I got stuff on my Exodus wallet. I was looking into getting probably buying some like Omize Go or something. What do I think will correct first in terms of what? What do you mean? You think? I don't think Bitcoin is really on a. I mean, I think it's. If I was talking between maybe like Bitcoin and Ethereum, I would say they're both kind of long overdue for that level change. So I think this is actually quite right. I don't know. Now, if Bitcoin went up like 15-20%, then I would expect like a come down, you know what I mean, like a serious check. But I think once, see, what it seems like what ends up happening is that right now it's around $4,800. I think that if enough people get in to start pushing it up to 5,000, then you're gonna have like what people do opposite wise. They, how sometimes when people, they see a fire sale or something happens and the word of mouth goes out and people just start selling because they think that it's going to top out at 5. I think that's what's going to happen. It'll reach 5 and then 5,000. And then once it happens, it's going to go higher and higher, just like it just did before. It's going to keep going higher and higher. And all that's really going to do, that's going to be the real temporary. It's going to send it crashing back down again because people are going to be trying to make their profit to at least 5K. So I think it's fine right now the way it's moving. I would prefer Bitcoin to move up very slowly in incremental stages than for it to just shoot up. Kind of what like Ethereum is doing right now. I think the highest that they reached today was probably like around, like 390 something or something like that, I believe. So yeah, I mean, it happens, I think Ethereum needs to hit at least $400, but I feel the same way about it as, Bitcoin. So, time tells. Litecoin is, certainly mooning. I mean, by the end of the weekend, we could already be at $100. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. It just depends on the way the market moves. But corrections are in order. For sure. Things will be corrected. I mean, look at Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic is moving up in the world. I get weary when everything is green. You know what I mean? And when everything is green, that usually means that we're in for another like Red Sea. And you should know about the Red Sea because when it happens, everybody suffers unless you're like in BitConnect or something. So H-share is still suffering a bit. Omize Go. I was looking at Omize Go to get into it because I know the new Exodus wallet has it in there, I believe. So I was looking to get into it. I'm not sure if I want to go that direction yet. I am heavily into staking coins at the moment. I like to stake because it's a better alternative if you're not trying to mine. It just depends on the coin, man. But staking is kind of like where I'm at right now. I don't know if you can stake BitShares. Can you stake BitShares? I don't know. 10x has been suffering for a little while, guys, too. It's down below back below $4. Ripple actually was on the rise, a quick rise before it pooped out. But yeah, if it goes down below, yeah, it'll be good. It'd be nice. Yo, let's see what we got. That is the group chat for Ember, and I got some other stuff going on too. I'm kind of looking into a few things right now as far as staking coins and also Thinking about putting on a trading bot at some point. Do I think Ember Coin was pump and dump because of the 700%? No, I don't. And this is why I think Ember is actually just fine. This is always what happens. You know, before the big fish got into Ember, Ember was basically dead and gone. You know, they set the coin up, I believe, horribly for sustainability when it first came about. I think that once they got new devs in there to actually breathe life back into the coin and actually make a future for it, give it a real purpose, I think things started to change and the community started to change because the community was basically gone. The thing was trading at like one or two sats, Satoshis. So from there until now, I think what happened is that, you know, over the last month or so, people have been staking the coin quietly in fear of, promoting a FOMO effect. And what happens is that something like that happens. It catches like wildfire. People see that you can make a profit. And of course that attracts the big dogs. You know, people that have a lot of Bitcoin. If you look like at Trayvon and like people like Craig, people that have a lot of Bitcoin at their disposal, you know, when you show somebody like that that's interested in a coin like, in a coin like Ember, I mean, they can literally just, the people who have been staking it and, you know, working hard at it, earning the Ember, they can come in and just literally wipe you out. By just buying a whole bunch of the stuff, staking it. And then what happens is that when you have that mentality is somebody with that kind of mentality, that's what happens. I mean, they're gonna dump it after they see that what they can do with it. And then it's like once one dumps, then they all start dumping. And that's what we saw. It was a big pump and dump. But I don't think, but you got to remember before these big people got in, like, I'm saying Trayvon, I'm giving him as an example. I don't even know if he's still staking or if he's still even involved in the coin. But people that have his type of, you know, his money, you know, they could really come in and do damage to the community, but at the same time, they can make it great for the community. Because seeing somebody like that with that kind of clout come in and put money into the community, it makes everybody else feel better about putting money into that community. The only problem is that when people start dumping, it usually triggers a huge shitstorm. So, but before they got in, you know, it was trading at 3-4 Satoshis anyway. So to me, it doesn't really matter. It's just basically gone back to normal. And I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? So, favorite coin to stake right now would have to be Ember Coin at the moment. It would have to be Ember Coin. It would have to be. But yeah, I mean, they're only going to be staking like this until November 1st, and then I'm sure the rewards will go way down. You know, I'd like to see the rewards around 150%, 120 to 150%, and then until they can give us concrete information on master noding and, you know, what they're going to do for us there. So WTC, Walton coin. Let's see what we got. $1.79. What is the market cap? What's the market cap on it? The circulating supply. It's on Binance. Now, I don't know, man. Like I'm not gonna mess with anything that's on Binance. I mean, I would. I'm not gonna discourage it, but I mean, you know, Cryptopia and Nova Exchange are like the lowest I'll go. I mean, under that is Polonian X, but I don't even mess with Polonian X. So, what's up, Thomas G? My man, right there. The holders who had 1,800,000,000 Ember since early this year dumped on us. So we still good. We got back up. 20 million supply for Walton Coin. Interesting. It's on Binance though. I mean, I try to stay off of most of these smaller exchanges. I don't just because I don't know, man. It is what it is. You know, it is what it is. You know, I would. I guess you know. I guess to me, it depends on what you get into. Depends heavily to me on your goal. What is the goal? If the goal is to churn and burn, make a quick profit, get the hell out of there, then you're kind of a person that might be into like the HYIPs because they're really risky, but they have a chance for great reward in a small amount of time. I personally don't like doing that stuff. When it comes to this, like investing in coins, there are so many coins out there, so many that it's almost impossible to just gamble with all of them. I feel like you gotta kind of narrow down what you want in terms of how much you're trying to make, what you're trying to invest, and and what kind of time frame. I think that pretty much should dictate how you get involved with some of these coins. That's not bad. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. You know, yo, what's up, Eric C? What's going on, man? It is what it is. Let me put this stream up on. Let me put this stream up on the chat. I'm gonna go to the. Where is the off topic? Put that in the chat. Do I have Verge? No, Verge was something that I was actually going to get into a while back. Then again, then I was against it because I was looking at low vol. It's high volume, but I was looking at low cost coins to see how many I can get, how many I can hold. I was against it. When it came down to it, I decided not to pull the trigger on it, and I followed Thomas G into Redcoin, but I stopped investing in it just because I wanted to wait and see what was going to happen. During this quarter, and I really haven't seen much from it yet. I mean, so I kind of dropped out of Redcoin a little bit and just holding whatever I got and until something happens. But I'm really not looking to just put my money anywhere. I'm looking for something pretty damn solid that could actually work. So far, Ember has been that. So there's Nexus. Nexus is going pretty tough. 808's looking pretty good. Those are all low volume coins too, man. So right now, but they could potentially be huge. To me the fear of losing with when you're dealing with like Ember coin. Some of these coins like 808, There's a few. There's quite a bit. There's quite a few of them. Woman coin, like when you're messing with those coins, like they could be potentially really, really, really good, but in those early stages, it could be really, really hard because and really hard to deal with because these are the coins that you're trying to make it on one end you're trying to make it popular so it can actually grow and people start putting their money into into the community, but it's really dangerous too because you're gonna have people wanting to take their profits and that's the dangerous thing about coins like Ember. You just stay and commit yourself to it, to be there, to continue to grow with the community, and to combat the pump and dump. Once people start seeing that it's actually a solid project, then more and more people will come to stay for the long haul. You know what I mean? That's what happened with Chaincoin. Chaincoin was doing the same thing, and they had a really good incentive, the masternode, but that's what happened to me, in my opinion. It flopped because people they got scared, man. People got scared with Chaincoin. People got scared, and they just wanted, that fear of losing everything made everybody just dump. Look at it, it's 24 cents. When I was looking to get into it to buy a masternode, it was with 1,000 coins. This shit was like at 71 cents, and then it just skyrocketed. So, they do have a masternode for Chaincoin, but that shit seemed like it was like what turned me off from Chaincoin buying in at 71 cents at the time when it was at 71 cents before it skyrocketed was it looked like it was rocket science to set that shit up. And everybody that I talked to that was running a masternode said that it was a pain in the ass. A pain in the ass to set up, a pain in the ass to keep it connected. It was just a pain in the ass. So that ultimately right there had just left me sour with that whole project, and I just was done with it. So I didn't even get involved, and I was kind of mad, but at the same time, I wasn't gonna mess with it, man. Plus, I thought the masternodes paid kind of like shit. I mean, it wasn't that great. I mean, you would have to have quite a few masternodes. But again, if you bought into it at like when it was pennies, and then that was easy to have a whole bunch of masternodes. You know what I mean? To run that kind of income, but get that kind of passive income. But it wasn't. The other one I'm really impressed with right now is Nem. Nem had a huge comeback. As you know, Nem and Ripple were just like sitting together, man, neck and neck, trying to figure out who the hell was going to jump first. They're like playing double dutch. But Nem is taking off, man. It reached that new height, that new plateau, and now it's settling down a bit. And I think for Nem, that's the best way to grow. You don't want to skyrocket too high and then crash and burn. You don't want to pull a chain coin or something like that. Ripple's been kind of the same way. It's just been sitting there, man. It gave us all a little scare not too long ago where it just shot up out of nowhere, but we know who's running it, so you got to take heed to that too, and just take it with a grain of salt that the bank owns it, the banks are running it. You can't do nothing about it. I believe Neo is still a pretty solid coin to get on in with. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it progressed way too quick, and that's why we saw the big crash. And that's why we saw that big crash, but it's good. So we got 9 people in here. How many of you guys are on? How many of you guys are on? Have Ember. Who's holding Ember in here? Do. Big connect. Big connect. Big connect is creeping up there, baby. It's creeping back up there. Next thing you know, we'll be back at 150. You think so? You think that's what caused it to just freaking crash? Well, I wouldn't say crash, but plummet definitely from where it was. China's giving the ban hammer, man. China is giving the ban hammer, man. They're giving the ban hammer on a lot of their ICOs. But you know what? I think that it is important that somebody start trying to regulate these damn ICOs. They're out of control, man. ICOs are out of control. It's very, very hard to keep up with what's going on. It's like the new way to get money and not have to deliver a product. All you got to do is sell vaporware. All I got to do is sell you on a proof of concept. And that's it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to follow through and give you anything. I just have to come up with a nice strategy to raise money. You know, it's like a GoFundMe, you know, with a promise that you might get something at the end, you know. So China taking that ban hammer to most of the ICOs to me is a good thing. Sucks that it has to be the government, but if somebody doesn't step in and regulate it, it's gonna run wild, man, and it's gonna rip a lot of people off, and then you know that's gonna cause a lot more problems. Yellow Duck, what's going on? See all my G's over there on BitConnect too. Big Mo say he's holding. He said that's why I hold 0 ETH. I still got Ether, man. I still got some Ethereum. I'm holding on to it for now. I don't like the direction they're taking. You know, with this whole Russia thing. You know, back in Russia and stuff like that. Back in Russia banks and all this shit. I'm not really down with that. I kind of each day that I look at Ethereum, I start to realize more and more how much I'm starting to not like it. I just want it to make me a lot of money, that's all. Yeah, they're going to. The regulations are definitely going to kill Ethereum and Neo if they cannot adjust quickly. He said after hearing, yeah, I'm trying to get you on my team, Yellow. And are you already locked up? I think you're already locked up. Same with Salam, too. I think you're already locked up. F that. Make a new account. Send all your stuff over there. And join my team. Wasn't BitConnect a scheme Ponzi? Define scheme and then define Ponzi. And then find anybody that has been schemed or let down with BitConnect. I think the only way you can be let down is not by investing in it. That's the only way you can be let down or schemed is if you're too smart not to invest. Shame on you. BitConnect is making dreams happen, baby. BitConnect making dreams happen. Where's my phone? Do my time, do my... You go just like a rocket ship. Yay, yay, $4.71. I had a nice little payout yesterday, man. Yeah, I need more of you guys on this team, man. 36 people. I got 36. And everybody's making money. 36 people. It's looking good. You know, looking good. But I need you guys on the team. I need you guys on the damn team. Ponzi is the guys who fucked everyone over. LOL. But BCC is going good for everyone. You know, Ponzi's, like I said, are those sites, those HYIPs, those sites that you hear about that most YouTubers will start to promote. eCoin Plus, PowerCoin, what else? NanoHash, MicroHash, BitLake, BitPetite. I can go on and on. I mean, I see people posting about this shit every day, and I'm like, how dumb do you have to be to sign up to a site that claims they're going to give you like 10% a day or 8% a day or more? Like you have to be so greedy that it doesn't bother you. You have to be super greedy, man. You got to be damn greedy to jump into something like that, knowing that it's too good to be true. You know what I mean? You to me, in this game, if you want to make your money, man, you gotta be, you gotta stay clean, man. Stay clean, and just follow the Crypto Solutions. Yeah, Crypto Solutions just went down. You know what I'm saying? Crypto Solutions just went down, and appreciate that, Ducky. Yeah, BitConnect is making America better again. So, you know, to me, it is what it is, man. Like, I just feel like those sites are so bad for the community. You know, that, and the thing is that, you know, what's funny about it is that just as fast as they go down and as fast as other people complain about them being scams, the same people are signed up with the next company doing the same thing the day after. You know what I mean? So, oh, that's good. That's what's up. 10K challenge, man. That 10K challenge, I was talking about it yesterday, dude, and you know, I'm glad I made that challenge. You know, I wish I could have put that 5K, you know, back into it as an active investment. I need that for my house, but you know, I'm looking to obviously get back into it, and hopefully soon I'll be able to put hit that 10K challenge, complete that milestone, and shoot for the next one, that 20. But yeah, man, I mean, I think it's good to challenge yourself, and I think it's good to set goals, have healthy competition between people in the community, and drive each other to do better, be better. There's nothing wrong with that. Not in my book. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Yeah, with BitConnect and referrals, I don't know. Some people are just like magic geniuses with that shit. I don't know how they get people to sign up. I simply just say, look at my stats, look at what I'm doing, join the team if you want to do that too. And so far it seems it's worked. It's worked at least 36 times, right? So, Janet, what's up? She is right. Janet has been besides myself, I think Janet's probably my biggest critic. And respectfully so. She shoots straight. She lets you know what's going on, man. So I took that 5K out like I said I would. And for its purpose, and I'm glad I was able to get it out and able to get it to do what I wanted it to do, and it's done that. So it's time to ante up, man, and do something else. You know, the next goal. So it makes this thing exciting. So it looks like Ember is back at 5 Satoshis. Back at 5. Ember's been going pretty damn well, though. I'm enjoying the Ember coin. Where's my... Boom. So yesterday, as you can tell, if you can see on here, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but on the 30th, I've been getting stakeout payments every day since I started. But yesterday, the 31st, it stopped, and something happened. Something happened with it. My power went out like in the middle of the night or whatever, so the internet restarted. And when you break the internet or whatever happens, you know, your coins have to remature again for at least 8 to 10 hours, and that's what happened. What was it? On the 31st at night around like 10 o'clock p.m. So I thought I was gonna get a payment yesterday. It didn't happen. I was so mad all day. But this morning, as you can see at 3:07 in the morning, I got a staking payment, my staking rewards payment. And at first glance, I was a little pissed off because I thought it said like 235,000. There's a lot of numbers. The dot is really small. But when I came back home, I looked at it. Hey, all right, catch you later, Janet. Oh yeah, I slept really good that night. The wife was even happier when she was able to get a hold of that money too. She was very, very happy. But again, like I was checking this morning, and I thought it said 235,000. I was tired, and I guess I didn't see it right, so I was pissed off, and I was trying to figure out, like, man, how in the hell did I only get 200-something thousand coins, man, for staking reward? Like, what the hell? But when I looked at it again, I was mistaken. It was actually 2.3 million coins as a staking reward, and that's actually pretty damn high because my very, very first staking reward was 1.7 million. So I was actually really grateful that got such a huge staking reward. So up to 18 million coins right now. And like I said, man, I'm just going to stake the shit out of it. I have not, as you can see in the recent transactions, I only sent one thing out because that $4.99, that 500 coins said something crazy about it's going to take like 780 something days. And I didn't know if it tracks multiple deposits to stake from or what. So I didn't know about that. I got scared and I was like, I don't want it staking that. I wanted to stake, you know, my 12 million coins that I put in there at first. So that was the only thing that I did. But hopefully, you know, once I get up there and wait, once we can get Ember stabilized a bit, you know, I'll start paying myself some profit, but very, very little on a frequent basis as to not cause, you know, a huge dumping frenzy. Because that's all it takes, man, is a little whiff of fear, and people will dump all over you. They'll just dump. They'll just start selling, and you'll be like wondering what in the hell is going on. Why are people dumping? Let's check it out. Check it out. Let's see. I'm gonna put this over, and people. I'm gonna put this on Steam It too. Let's put it on Steam It. I love Steam, man. I'm hoping Steam comes back from this funk. I think a lot of people sold off on Steam, and they might be making their way back soon. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Hopefully they come back and make the community great again. I still been rolling on it, you know what I mean, and enjoyed the community a lot. But it seemed like a lot of members left the Steam It platform. Not sure why. Nobody's really explained it yet, but all of a sudden it was like, all of a sudden it just seemed like everything was going great, payouts were coming great, and then all of a sudden the shit just ceased. It stopped. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. What the hell is happening? What is going on? Let's see. $10 hours past, nothing. When you're staking this Ember, man, you gotta really, really just, you gotta have some patience. You gotta have some patience, my friend. That's another thing I see with people too. They're how much does a VPS? Can you I wonder if you can run Ember on a VPS. That'd be interesting to find out. Because that sounds like it would be really good. Obviously, you would do that if you're running a master node too. I mean, that would just make more sense. Unless you had an extra rig. Listen to some motivational speak.
From the earliest writings of man, we know that the human race has been comprised of the haves and the have-nots. When I was a kid back during the Great Depression, I was obsessed with a desire to know what invisible something separated the haves from the have-nots, being a have-not. I wanted to know why so few managed to be well off financially in a country where success is available to everyone. For example, in checking the Statistical Abstract of the United States, published by the Bureau of the Census, I discovered, just lately, that only 10% of the men in this country, 65 years of age and older, have incomes of $6,000 or more a year. More than 80% of all men 65 or older have incomes under $4,000 a year. Only 7.6% have incomes between $7,000 and $10,000 a year, and only 3.7% have incomes of $10,000 a year or more. A man starts his working career in his 20s, often earlier. He's fortunate in that he lives in the free world. He has better than 40 years to make the grade financially in the richest country on earth. Yet, according to the statistics, only about 10 out of 100 will be financially secure by the time 65 rolls around, and only about 4 men out of 100 will be financially comfortable. Now, why? Well, let me tell you how to find out for yourself. Conduct your own survey. Start down the street in your neighborhood on any Saturday or Sunday and ask the man of every house 2 questions. The first question is, what are you doing at the present time to increase your income now? That is, how much do you want to earn? And when you've evaluated the blank stare you get in response to that question, ask question number 2, which goes, how much money are you planning to be worth at age 65? Now, when the silence becomes too unnerving, thank him and move on to the next house. Ask 50 men, 100, 1,000, until you're completely convinced that the reason men don't make more money during their working lives, and the reason men aren't financially independent by the time they're 65, is simply that they seldom, if ever, do any constructive thinking on either subject. It's that simple, unfortunately. The reason it's so easy to earn far more money than the average man earns in this country is that so very few, are going about it the right way. This is a race without enough contestants to bother about. The few who are really in the race can all be winners. Some will finish ahead of the others, but even the man who finishes last in this race will be financially secure. Most people, more than 90%, aren't even in the race. To prove it, ask yourself the 2 survey questions. Up until the time you started listening to this message, what were your plans for increasing your income? How much do you want to earn? And how much money had you decided to be worth by the time you're 65? You see, people who earn large incomes aren't lucky, and they're not crooks as those without money are so fond of pretending, nor are they endowed with more brains or talent necessarily than their friends and neighbors, nor are they privy to occult secrets, and only a very few were lucky enough to have had rich fathers or grandfathers. Most of the people earning the big incomes today started the same way you and I did, and most other people. The only difference between the men who earn big incomes and those who earn small incomes is that those earning big incomes decided to earn more. They're the people who made it their business to earn more. You see, a woman who does not think about baking an apple pie for dinner tonight will never think of looking up the recipe for apple pie. Without the decision for pie, there's no motivation for checking out the recipe. A man who does not think about driving his car to St. Louis, Missouri or Nacogdoches, Texas will never get road maps which show how to get to St. Louis or Nacogdoches. And a man who never decides to earn more money will never think of learning how, of looking up the rules for earning more money. You see, people do what they make up their minds to do. So get rid of the ancient superstition once and for all that people who earn big money are special people, or lucky, or get the breaks, or had money to begin with, or knew someone, or are smarter, or anything else. These are alibis. They can all be disproved 1,000 times. The reason there are so many of these alibis around is that men who fail to make the grade financially are seldom honest enough to just admit that they really didn't try and keep trying. So in order to justify their failure, in order to remain seated, they dream up and pass along these old alibis. We're all self-made, but only the successful will admit it. I once had occasion to visit Charleston, South Carolina. I'd never been there before, so I hired a taxi to drive me around the historic old town. I particularly wanted to see the battery where that famous shot was fired on Fort Sumter. Along this beautiful drive, some of Charleston's oldest and finest homes look out over the bay. I commented to my cab driver on what lovely homes they were, and he said, yes, some of those homes have 40 rooms. And then he thought a moment and he said, and every one of them is owned by a crook. This is how the have-nots justify themselves and their lot in life. I didn't say anything because I didn't feel I was entitled to advise him or try to straighten out his thinking. This is a free country where as long as he doesn't hurt others, everyone has the unalienable right to be just as wrong as he wants to be. As Thomas R. Lounsbury, the American scholar and educator, put it, we must view with profound respect the infinite capacity of the human mind to resist the inroads of useful knowledge. My taxi driver and men and women like him all over the world have been kidding themselves and holding themselves down and refusing the bounty and abundance of the world for centuries. Knowledge is available to everyone.
I'm actually looking into rain.
We can either listen to those qualified to teach us, or we can go along with those.
I'm actually looking into rain right now.
Ancient stumbling blocks we get from people who don't know any more than we do. The truth, incidentally, about those homes along that beautiful drive is that they were built by the men and women who made the largest contribution to the city of Charleston. In just a moment, I'm going to give you the formula for getting rich. But before I do, I want to remind you of something. Before a jet pilot begins his takeoff from an airport, he carefully goes over a checklist, item by item. He does this not only because it's required by law, but because he cannot afford to trust so important a job to his memory alone. He has another checklist that he goes over just as carefully before he begins his letdown at his destination. He does this without fail every time he takes off and every time he lands. Well, I think living successfully is as important as flying an airplane. And because of this, I think each of us needs a checklist too. And that's why there's one included with this cassette. We need a checklist to go over item by item before we take off in the morning and before we drop off to sleep every night. So I want to recommend that you affix the checklist to your bathroom mirror. Stare at it as you brush your teeth in the morning and stare at it again as you prepare for bed at night. Go over each item, and as you do, think of what each item represents. Now here's number one. It's the formula for getting rich. It also explains why you're in your present position, whether you're earning $6,000 a year or $16,000 or $60,000 or $600,000. It applies to every adult, whether he's employed or unemployed. It applies to the richest man and to the poorest, and every person in between. And here it is. Our rewards in life will always be in exact proportion to our contribution, our service. Now that's what the formula means as the first item on your checklist. Memorize it. Our rewards in life will always be in exact proportion to our contribution, our service. Listen to it, think about it until you know it emotionally as well as intellectually. It might give you some slight feeling of superiority to realize that there's probably not another man within a mile of where you live who knows it. You can add it as a question on your survey if you want proof of that. If you want it in another form, here it is as it applies to a man's job. It's the same thing really, the same thing applies, but you can express it differently. The money you're paid by the company you work for will always be in direct ratio to the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the degree of difficulty involved in replacing you. Maybe you want to write the formula down in both of its forms and think about it until it's as much a part of you as your name. The reason it isn't spelled out on your checklist is because you might not want everyone to know what you're up to. The checklist is valuable only to a person who knows what the words really indicate. All right, you've got the formula. As you think about it, its meaning will become clearer to you. With the formula, there are two rules which must be applied to properly use it. This formula, together with the two rules, is your recipe or your roadmap to earning all the money you really want. Now let's take a look at item number 2 on your checklist. And I'm serious about your putting this checklist on your mirror. You'll notice it's pressure sensitive. Item number 2, the gold mine. The Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright Archibald MacLeish in his play The Secret of Freedom wrote, "The only thing about a man that is a man is his mind. Everything else you can find in a pig or a horse." Strong words, aren't they? But as long as you live, you'll never hear a truer statement. The key to every human being's success lies in his mind, the gold mine between his ears. One idea can make you rich.
This is one that's been jumping off
A
too.
lot of good ideas can move you steadily upward in the work you do, and ideas are free. Now just think, there's nothing now being done commercially that will not be done better, much better in the years ahead. Next year's homes and most of what's in them will be better than this year's. Next year's cars will be better. Next year's manufacturing, distributing, marketing, and selling and advertising should be better. Nothing is now being done as well as it must be done in the future, and every innovation, every new improvement will be somebody's brainchild. Now what's your specialty? How many good ideas have you come up with during the past year? If you continue on as you have in the past, where will you be and what will you be earning, say, a year from now, 5 years from now? Every day of our lives, we walk or drive by more opportunity than we could develop in a lifetime, in 50 lifetimes. Back in the 20s, Sinclair Lewis wrote that you can kidnap a man, blindfold him, take him to any city in the country with a couple of notable exceptions, put him in a chair in the downtown area, take off his blindfold, and he could sit there a week and not be able to tell you what town he's in. The streets are all alike. The buildings are all alike. The businesses all look alike. This is still largely true today. The reason for this being that most businessmen in this country are playing a game called follow the follower. If a man goes into business, no matter what line it happens to be, the first thing he does is make certain that his place of business, outside and inside, looks exactly like every other place of business of that type in the country. Do you know why? It's because he's been playing copycat since he was a year old and does it without thinking about it. For the same reason kids dress alike in school. He wants to be one of the gang. He doesn't necessarily examine all the business establishments in his field and pattern his on the one outstanding example, the one that inspires him, the one that he can really believe in. He just does what everybody else in his business is doing, and by this simple process, he guarantees his own mediocrity. Whose drum are you marching to, if indeed you're marching to anyone's, and why? Remember, whatever you now do for a living will be done differently, quite differently a few years from now. Never in the history of mankind have the opportunities for all of us been so great. But the great majority of people will be the beneficiaries of progress, not those who bring it about. Which group are you going to belong to? If you want to be a contributor, not just a beneficiary, here's the first rule. It appears on your checklist as the gold mine. So, think. Think deliberately and with a purpose. Use the gold mine between your ears. Begin by thinking at a special time every day.
Start thinking.
Back during the Depression, a New York lumber dealer was growing rich while other lumber dealers were going broke. When asked how he did it, he said, "Every evening when I get home, I close myself up in a quiet room, sit in a comfortable chair, and ask myself, how will my business be conducted 10 years from now? Then I try to do it now." Instead of competing with every other lumber dealer, which is what they were doing, he was creating. He was doing the very thing man was designed to do, the very thing man does best. A company growing at the rate of 10% a year will double its size in less than 8 years. But a man can improve his effectiveness 50%, or 100% a year, or more. The experts tell us that every one of us has within him deep reservoirs of ability, even genius, that he habitually fails to use. Well, let's begin now to reach into these deep, rich areas of pure net profit and use more of our real abilities. Let's think. Here's the best way I've found to make yourself think. Start getting up a little earlier than you're accustomed to. Right off the bat, this gives you extra time that 95% of the men in this country are not using at all. 1 hour earlier a day gives you 6.5 extra 40-hour weeks a year. But at this time in the morning, take a refreshing shower, dress, get yourself a fresh, hot cup of coffee if you're a coffee man, and then sit down to a clean sheet of paper. At the top of the paper, write your financial goal. Now, this is the amount of money per year you intend to earn soon. Incidentally, you might like to keep this to yourself, too. It's nobody's business but yours. Then, start to think. Think about your goal and what it'll mean to you and your family. Then see how many ideas you can come up with to help you reach that goal. Ideas to improve what you now do for a living. Ways of increasing your contribution to match your income goal. You know, jobs don't have futures. People do. No matter what line of work you may be in, there is within it more than enough opportunity to last a lifetime. You don't have to think of brand new ideas or revolutionary new ways of doing things, although you well might come up with some. Think of ways of improving what is now being done. If you are to increase your income by the amount you've specified, you must find ways of increasing your contribution, your service. And the key to this is to be found in your mind, in that gold mine between your ears. Try for 5 ideas every morning and write them down. And save those sheets of paper in a special idea file. Many, perhaps most of your ideas will be worthless, but some of them will be very good. A few will be excellent, and every once in a while you will come up with something really outstanding. You see, 5 ideas a day is 25 a week if you don't think on weekends. Now that's more than 1,000 ideas a year. One idea can get you to that income you're shooting for. The law of averages swings so far in your favor you just can't miss. Try to develop a sense of expectancy. That is, try to hold the feeling that the goal you're shooting for is a sure thing, and that it's only a matter of time before it's realized. You know, Henry Ford didn't start making cars until he was 45. A friend of mine started a new company at 65. He's still going strong, and his new company has sales of better than $300 million a year. It's almost never too late. Try not to think of things outside of your own line of work or whatever it is you're most interested in. To think well and profitably, you must discipline your thinking. Keep it on course, controlled, keep it in one field, specialize. Now for the final item on your checklist. It appears as the word. And the word is attitude. Attitude has been called the most important word in the language. William James put it this way. He said, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind." Now, this is something to think about. Can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. It's another way of saying we become what we think about. Look at it this way. Your total environment, if you've been an adult for any appreciable period of time, your total environment is a reflection of you as a person. The house and the neighborhood in which you live, the car you drive, the clothes you wear, the job you do, the people with whom you regularly associate. Your total environment is an exact and merciless mirror of you as a human being. Now, if you feel your environment can stand some improvement, you have only to improve your attitude, and your world will gradually change to reflect the changing person. Here's how to change your attitude. Beginning now, begin to act as would the person you most want to become. Now that is, if you were already in possession of the goal you're shooting for, how would you conduct yourself in all of your affairs? Well, do it now, and tomorrow, and the next day. Begin now to act the part of the person you most want to become, and you'll end by becoming that person. Subtly, in little ways, in the way you dress, in the way you talk, in the unfailing courtesy you show to every person with whom you come in contact, begin to act the part of the person who has already achieved that which you're shooting for. The German philosopher Goethe gave us the secret when he said, before you can do something, you must first be something. When you behave like the person you most want to become, the things that person would have will tend to come to you. It's simply cause and effect. Don't be in too big a hurry. It takes longer to build a skyscraper than a chicken coop. Build slowly, steadily, and well. Then when you make it, you'll keep it. You'll stay on top. Always be suspicious of the so-called get-rich-quick scheme or sudden success. Never forget that word, attitude. It's your attitude toward the people with whom you come in contact that will determine their attitudes toward you. The person with the great attitude toward life and the world is the person other people call lucky. He's not lucky. He's just using our old friend cause and effect. His causes are excellent, and his effects have to be just as good. Well, that's it. 3 things to remember. 3 things to practice every day. If you spent 16 hours a day, 7 days a week practicing your golf swing, in a relatively short time, you'd have a grooved, beautiful swing like the pros. So practice your new attitude every day, every waking hour. Practice thinking a few minutes every morning, and you'll find yourself thinking all day long. And remember the formula. Our rewards in life will always be in exact proportion to our contribution, our service. Go over the ideas in this message every day until they're as much a part of you as your name and your temporary address. You'll notice that each time you listen, you'll hear something new. You'll get a new idea you failed to get before. This is Earl Nightingale, and thank you.
Some good words from a good man right there. Good words. He says a lot of things that make sense and make you think critically about what you're doing and how you see yourself and what you're doing. If it's leading you to success, or, you know, is it leading you somewhere else? The Bit Bean. The Bit Bean. I'm just going through these coins and looking through them and seeing if there's anything worth checking out. Anything worth checking out? Chain coin, look at that shit. Sad, man. Sad. Sad state. What's Zennies?
In the year 1843, a man was born who, during his lifetime, was to have a profound effect on millions of people. His name was Russell Herman Conwell. He became a lawyer, then a newspaper editor, and finally a clergyman. Well, one day, a group of boys came to Dr. Conwell at his church and asked him if he would be willing to instruct them in college courses. They wanted a college education, but lacked the money to pay for it. He told them that he'd do all he could, and as the boys left, a thought, an idea began to form in Dr. Conwell's mind. He asked himself, Why couldn't there be a fine college for poor but deserving young men? Well, here was a great idea, and he went to work on it at once. Almost single-handedly, Dr. Conwell raised $7 million with which he founded one of the world's leading universities. And he raised the money by giving more than 6,000 lectures all over the country.
D-Tube, I like D-Tube, man.
He told
That's
a story
steamy.
called Acres of Diamonds. The story was the account
I'm
of an
everywhere
African
because I'm trying to
farmer
be
who
everywhere.
heard tales about other settlers who had made millions by discovering diamond mines. And these tales so excited the farmer that he could hardly wait to sell his farm and search for diamonds himself. So he sold his farm and spent the rest of his life wandering the vast African continent, searching unsuccessfully for the gleaming gems which brought such high prices on the markets of the world. Finally, in a fit of despondency, broke and desperate, as I remember the story, he threw himself into a river and drowned. Now, meanwhile, the man who had bought his farm one day found a large and unusual stone in a stream which cut through the property. And the stone turned out to be a great
That's you,
diamond
Big Mo?
of enormous
Okay,
value.
that's you.
And he then discovered that the farm was covered with them.
Appreciate it,
And it
appreciate
was to
it.
become one of the world's richest diamond mines. The first farmer had owned literally acres of diamonds, but had sold them for practically nothing in order to look for them elsewhere. If he'd only taken the time to
What is Greg talking about?
study and prepare himself, to learn what diamonds look like in their rough state, and had first thoroughly explored the land he owned, he would have found the millions he sought right on his own property.
Chatting with the peoples
The thing
online,
about this
man.
story that so
With the
profoundly
peoples.
affected Dr. Conwell and subsequently millions of others was the idea that each of us is, at this moment, standing in the middle of his own acres of diamonds. If we will only have the wisdom and patience to intelligently and effectively explore the work in which we're now engaged, we'll usually find that it contains the riches we seek, whether they be financial or intangible or both. There's nothing more pitiful to my mind than the person who wastes his life running from one thing to another, forever looking for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and never staying with one thing long enough to find it. No matter what your goal may be, perhaps the road to it can be found in the very thing in which you're now engaged. You see, the average man believes some businesses are better than others, instead of realizing the truth that there are no bad businesses. There are just those people who don't know enough to see the opportunities in the work they're in. No matter what our work happens to be, it's our business. We're the manager. If there seems to be no future
Watching
or
from the
opportunity in it,
Philippines.
it isn't always because it's not there.
That's a place I want to
But
visit,
perhaps
man.
only because we can't see it. A farmer once
And I
poked
might
a
be
tiny
going,
pumpkin
might be
into an
going
empty
to
jug.
Thailand.
The pumpkin grew until it
couple
completely
months.
filled the jug
Still
and
trying to
could grow
decide
no
if that's
more.
what I want to do or not.
When the farmer broke the glass,
We
he had a
gonna see,
pumpkin
though.
exactly the size and shape of the jug. If we're not careful, each of us can do a similar thing. We can mistakenly poke ourselves into jugs that limit our growth. But it is we who do the poking, not the job, not the company, nor the territory, nor the economy, nor the times. We do it. People who become outstanding at their work are those who see their work as an opportunity for growth and development, and who prepare themselves for the opportunities which surround them every day. Preparation is the key. This means
Give
becoming
me a
so
second.
good, so competent at what we're now doing, we will actually force the opportunities we seek to come our way. It takes imagination.
It better reconnect my stream. My stream. My stream. I better reconnect my stream. My stream. My stream. Yay, yay. What is it talking about? What is this thing talking about? Y'all should know what it is. About to get it in with some bodies and bullets, baby. What's up, John White? Legendary, but that's distinguished. I like that. Of course I'm ready. Let's get it. I hate when people lock their squads, man. It's such a douchebag move. Yo, what's up, Mr. 760 Plus from Saskatchewan, Regina.
Our side have struck
watch
first.
a dude out that vlogs out there. Guy that vlogs out there. Watch him a lot. He's a good guy. Somebody sniping.
Ecco una cassetta medica.
Mortars, baby. Sniping.
Cassetta medica per te, amico. Got him.
A sentry kit is available near your location.
Got away. Trying to hide. Got him though. Love me some Battlefield, baby.
Halfway there, keep it up.
Lancio una granata, occhio!
That's fair. Trying to get people not to. Still opening up the doors, man. Idiot. Where you at? Hey! Where you at? Ain't nobody coming in here, boy. I'm camping my
We have
ass out.
almost won.
Cassetta medica per te!
Tutto bene?
Go ahead, boy. me. I was trying to get him. I was trying to get him. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining the stream. Wanted to get it off this gameplay, but I appreciate you guys coming through. I will catch you guys in the next video, which will be soon. I got some things to say about this crypto game, baby. I love it. I love you guys. Thanks for supporting me. Catch you later.